Hi, I'm Ashley and welcome to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about some of my most anticipated book releases for this year, 2024. And I have 14 books on this list to share with you today. And I will be talking about these in order of publication date from soonest to latest. So let's get started with number 1. So the first book on this list is coming out this month on January 16th. And it is a sequel to one of my favorite books of last year, and it is Emily Wilde's Map of the Other Lands by Heather Fawcett. So it is the sequel to Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies, and I read this last year, and like a lot of other people, I loved it, so I can't wait to read the second one. And I'm just super excited to see more of Emily and more of Wendell and more of their banter and shenanigans. So the second book on this list comes out January 23rd, and it is Destroy the Day by Bridget Khmer, and this is the third book in the Defy the Night series, and I believe it's the final book. It is a YA fantasy series that has some romance in it, and the first book was amazing. The second book, Defend the Dawn, I read last year, and it was good, but it wasn't as good as Defy the Night. But it did end on a really big cliffhanger, and I really need to know what happens to our characters, so I can't wait to read the third one. And the third book is one that lots of people are highly anticipating this year, and that one comes out on January 30th, and it is none other than the third book in the Crescent City series, House of Flame and Shadow. I'm not really going to say much about this because everyone already knows about this series. But after the way the second one ended, I need to read the third one. And I'm just really excited to see where the story goes. So book number 4 comes out February 20th. It is Visions of Flesh and Blood. It's a Blood and Ash and Flesh and Fire compendium. And this is by Jennifer Armentrout. So this is part of the From Blood and Ash world. And the From Blood and Ash series is one of my favorite fantasy romance series of all time. I love it so much. And this isn't really a continuation of the story. It's more like a guidebook, like a character and history guidebook of the world. And it's told from the point of view of Miss Willa Collins, which if you read the books, then you know about her. She's an awesome character. And so even though it's not like a story to say, more like an information fan guide, I'm still like really interested in it and to read more about the world and the characters and learn some things that I don't know. So book number 5 comes out on March 5th, and it is book number 4 in one of my favorite mystery series. It's another Finlay Donovan book, and book number 4 is Finlay Donovan Rolls the Dice. And I just love this series so much. It makes me laugh. It always puts me in a good mood, so I'm excited for the next one. Book number 6 comes out on April 2nd, and it's Just for the Summer by Abby Jimenez. And so last year in 2023, I read my first Abby Jimenez book, Part of Your World, and I love this. So I'm super excited to read this new release, and I hope I'll love it just as much as Part of Your World. And this is an adult romance book. So this book is about our two main characters, Justin and Emma, and they both have this problem where they date someone and then they break up with that person, and then right after they break up with that person, the person ends up finding their soulmate. So they come up with this plan to date each other, and so they're figuring that their curses will cancel each other out, and so when they break up, they will each find their soulmate. But we all know they are going to fall in love with each other, and this just sounds like it's going to be super cute and funny. So book number 7 comes out April 23rd, and it's another contemporary romance book, and it's Funny Story by Emily Henry. And I love Emily Henry's books. I love Beach Read. I love Happy Place. I really liked Book Lovers. The only one I haven't read yet is People We Meet on Vacation. And so I'm very excited to read this new book. And this one, our main character is Daphne, and she's been dating this guy named Peter for a while, but then Peter realizes he's in love with someone else, so they break up. And now Daphne becomes roommates with her ex's new girlfriend's ex, Miles. Book number 8 comes out May 21st, and is A North Wind by Alexandra Warwick. And this one is an adult fantasy romance that is a standalone and is supposed to be a slow burn enemies to lovers. And it's inspired by Beauty and the Beast, Hades and Persephone, and also Greek mythology. And it also has winter vibes. And this one is kind of a little hard for me to describe without having read it, so I'm just going to read a little piece of the synopsis. So it says, for 300 years, the land surrounding Edgewood has been encased in ice as a shade, a magical barrier that protects the townsfolk from the Deadlands beyond weekends. Only one thing can stop the shade's fall. The blood of a mortal woman, bound in wedlock to the north wind, a dangerous immortal whose heart is said to be as frigid as the land he rules. And the time has come to choose his bride. When the north wind sets his eyes on Wren's sister, Wren will do anything to save her, even if it means sacrificing herself in the process. But mortal or not, Wren won't go down without a fight. So this one just sounds really good, and I'm loving the winter vibes. I feel like this will be a good one to read at winter time next year, and it just sounds like it has very good potential as a fantasy romance book. So I am very intrigued. So book number 9 comes out June 24th, and it is The Wren in the Holly Library. It is by K.A. Lin. And this one, okay, so this one I just randomly stumbled upon on Amazon, and it is on this list because the cover was absolutely gorgeous, and it also has really pretty sprayed edges. And I went to look at the description, and it doesn't really have much of a description yet, but I am very intrigued. So the only thing that the description says so far is this. A darker shade of magic meets 6 of crows in this alternate day New York where monsters live among humankind. From US Today bestselling author K.A. Lin. So that's all I know. Doesn't really tell me much, but I am very intrigued to learn about more when there is more information, because the cover is gorgeous, the edges are gorgeous, and I want to know more about what the book's about. So it is on this list because I am very intrigued, and I will be keeping my eye on it. So book number 10 comes out June 25th, and it is Bloodguard by Ceci Robson. And this is another book that I just randomly saw on Amazon again, and the cover was super pretty, and again it had sprayed edges that were really pretty, and that drew me in. This one though, unlike the previous one, actually has a description that tells me more about what it's about, and the description makes me even more intrigued to read it. So I'm going to read that to share a little bit about what this book is about. So description says, 100 years, tens of thousands of god-eaters, and today only one will rise. Everything in the kingdom of Arrow is a lie. Leith of Grey thought coming to this new land and volunteering to fight in the gladiator arena, vicious, bloodthirsty tournaments where only the strongest survive, would earn him enough gold to save his dying sister. He thought there was nothing left to lose. He was wrong, and they took everything. His hope, his freedom, his very humanity. All Leif has left is his battle-scarred body, fueled by rage and hardened from years of fighting for the right to live another day. Then Leif meets Maeve, an elven royal who is everything he despises, everything he should hate, until the alluring princess offers him the one thing he needs most, a chance to win the coveted title of Bloodguard and his freedom. But in a kingdom built on secrets and lies, hope doesn't come cheap, nor will his ultimate revenge. So this one sounds like another very interesting adult fantasy romance that I'm very excited to read. So book number 11 comes out on August 8th, and it's a sequel to a book that I actually read really recently, and it is Apprentice to the Villain by Hannah Nicole Meyer. It is a sequel to Assistant to the Villain, and I just read this recently and I love this, so I'm super excited to read the sequel because this ended on a cliffhanger, so I need to know what happens to our characters. Number 12 comes out on September 12th, and is Somewhere Beyond the Sea by T.J. Klune, and this is a sequel to The House in the Cerulean Sea. And I read The House in the Cerulean Sea back in 2020, and it's a cozy fantasy book that just feels like a warm hug. And the second book follows a character who was introduced in the first one, so I am super excited to go back to this world and to be with these characters again in the second one. So book number 13 also comes out on September 10th, and it is A Witch's Guide to Magical Innkeeping by Sangu Mandana, and this is another cozy fantasy book. It is by the author who wrote The Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches, and I read this last year and I love this book so much, so I'm super excited to read another book by this author. And her new book is also about witches, and it sounds like it's going to be just as cozy and wholesome as this one was. And there's also going to be a semi-villainous talking fox in this one. That there right alone really makes me want to read this book. Book number 14 And the last book on this list comes out October 22nd and is Spectacular by Stephanie Garber. It's going to be a novella that takes place in the world of her Caraval series, and this series is one of my favorite YA fantasy series, so I'm super excited to go back to the world of Caraval and to reunite with the characters because I just love the characters and the world of this book so much. This novella just seems like it's going to be a super cute little holiday book because it takes place on this book's world's holiday eve, and it just sounds like it's going to be really cute and a fun time. Hi, editing Ashley popping in here. So while I was editing this video, I realized that I left out a book that I wanted to include in this list. And that book is coming out April 9th, and it is The Hemlock King, which is the sequel to The Foxglove King. And I read The Foxglove King last year and really enjoyed it. So I am super excited for the sequel. It is a dark fantasy book, and I need to read the next one because I need to know more about the connection between the main female character and the two main male characters. And I also need to see what happens to our story and to our romance. Alright, so those are 14 of my most anticipated book releases for this year, 2024. Let me know down below if you are also looking forward to any of these, or if you are not, what are some books that you are looking forward to that are coming out this year. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, bye!